This is the pre-council meeting for the City of Joliet, Monday, May 20th, 5:30 PM. Start with roll call. Mayor Durrani.
Here.
Councilwoman Barber.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman McFarland.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we thought we would take this opportunity to honor one of the great institutions of the city of Joliet, and that's the Joliet Central High School Band. I think most of us who've been around for a long time know that we actually got the nickname of City of Champions, not necessarily because of our athletic teams in the early 1900s, but because of all the national wins that the band from Joliet Township High School had. And then obviously the athletic team started carrying on that tradition, so something that we're very proud of. When we had an opportunity to have the Joliet Township Central Drumline perform at a recent event at the museum where Channel 7 from Chicago was in to film for the morning. They did a great job, and we found out that they had won a significant prize. So what we thought we would do is invite the drumline to come in, open up our meeting, and have their director talk to us a little bit about the trophy that was won. So I think they're ready to go if the drumline can hit it.
Jeez.
Oops.
Just go to the microphone.
Okay. We went to the Invitational High School concert band contest down at Illinois State back in April, and out of 26 bands, we got first place in our 6A division and first place overall as grand champions. We present this to you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, if Mr. Fisk could just say hello to everybody, the director from Joliet Central.
Hello, everyone. We want to thank you for the opportunity to come and play for everyone today. Thanks very much for that. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor for us to continue to just carry on the tradition of the JT Band and represent this great city of champions, Joliet. We're very proud of that. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
And Mr. Mayor, members of the council, a big thanks to the board of the school district, as well as Dr. McCarthy, superintendent, John Randich, the superintendent, of course, Mike and his band. So thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, I don't know if it's hard to top that. I did ask them to stick around, and when I told them to hit it during some more testing parts of the meeting, if they could drown out everybody, but they're going to go back and do some homework tonight, I think. The presentation on the hotel and conference center will be postponed to another date. The presentation was made to the ZBA on Thursday. We've been working with them to get into some more detail for the mayor and the city council, so they're going to need some more time from this past Thursday, so we'll schedule that for another meeting for the mayor and city council. We actually haven't had any items asked to be moved up, I don't believe. So if it's all right with you, we'll just go through the regular agenda. First item will be approval of the minutes of the May 6th and May 7th meeting of the City Council. Next item will be council committee reports, and I know there'll be several reports for tomorrow night. Next item is on the consent agenda is the investment of municipal funds. Report from the Assistant City Treasurer is before you. The 2012 Annual Treasurers Report, which will be posted online, assuming it's been received and placed on file. And then after that, we have ordinances to address. There's another item, the request to schedule presentation by CCA regarding the detention center, an addition requested by Councilman McFarland.
Can we act on this tonight?
Yes.
Jimmy, want to address?
You want to do it tonight or
No,
tomorrow?
it doesn't make any difference to me. We got a full house. I figured we'd do it tonight. If you want to wait a little more, it's up to you.
We can do it tonight.
Okay.
Basically, I presented to have this on the agenda to our first step into having an up and down vote on whether or not Joliet should be the home of the next proposed for-profit prison. All this is doing is allowing the city manager to schedule a meeting with CCA, hopefully in the next 30 days, so the council that wants more information on the proposal could do so here, and it's an open forum. So if you want to vote on it tonight, I'll entertain a motion to have the city manager schedule a meeting with CCA.
So moved.
Second?
Excuse me, Mayor, Jim, one question. And then if and when they do approach the city of Joliet, we'll have more meetings and public meetings around the city to get more input. Is that your intention?
My intention is to have them come in. I know there's been a lot of public discussion that my fellow council members don't have enough information on CCA, what they're proposing. So I'm hoping after they come in, we can give folks an opportunity to come in and plead their case that's potentially against it, and hopefully move forward on it. A yea or nay vote on it.
We're down.
Up or down.
What I would like is this, have CCA come in, give their proposal to the council, it'll be open to the public. Afterwards, we could schedule as many meetings as we need to discuss it. And we'll have a representative from CCA to answer their questions.
It's a little open-ended. How many? I mean, we don't want to go on 6, 7, 8 months of meetings.
No, well,
You know, I'm getting the impression
I'm not
here-
gonna put a limit on it. I
Sure.
mean, as long as we have people that are interested.
I'd like to get this done by July so we can get working on
Other projects.
the other projects. I mean,
Well, if we can get them in June, yeah, that'll give us 6 weeks.
Sure. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Councilman McFarland, but really, there's two issues here. Do we want a detention center at all? And for those that say they want to see a proposal, should we say yes, or the majority say yes? Is CCA going to be the right company, depending on their history? That's kind of where we're at.
correct.
Okay.
Any other comments? Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to give the city manager authorization to schedule a presentation by Corrections Corporation of America regarding the detention center. Councilwoman Barber? Aye. Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman? Aye. Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye. Even if they aren't available on a meeting night, if we have to have a special meeting?
Yeah, we'll make sure that all 9 council members are available, so we'll check with your schedules first and then make sure that CCA is available at that same time.
Yeah, all right, very good.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, next item is Council Memo 209-13, 20913. That's a special use permit to allow a 2-bay muffler shop in an existing commercial structure at 926 Plainfield Road. The parcel is about a half an acre in size. The building is just a little under 10,000 square feet. It houses several uses. One is currently a Mexican restaurant. Another one is a flower shop. And what's being proposed for the other space is a 2-bay muffler shop. The property is owned by a gentleman by the name of Daryl Miner. The tenants who would like to operate the 2-bay muffler shop, their names are Jesus Rodriguez and Francisco Arellano. The special use permit went before the Zoning Board of Appeals in, I believe it was April 18th of this year. The minutes are attached, and there was considerable discussion about it. The ZBA is recommending approval of the special use permit. That was done on a 4-2 vote. The administration concurs with the recommendation. I believe there's been a resident who asked to speak on it. I don't recall the name, Krista?
Mr. and Mrs. Kerwin?
Mr. and Mrs. Kerwin. They'd like to be heard on the matter before the council votes.
Very good. Are they here?
I think they are.
Sure, okay, sure. Name and address, please.
Mike Kerwin, 65 Longwood Court, Joliet, Illinois. And my wife and I are the owners of the building at 918 Plainfield Road in Joliet. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and Joliet City staff, thank you for hearing our objection. The neighbors that are directly to the east and directly across the street cannot be here tonight, but they have informed me they have made known their objection through Mr. Tanis's office as well. We're very pro-business, and we've been business in Joliet for quite some time. We welcome the new restaurant and the new flower shop. These two businesses, I'm not quite sure where that plan came from, but it requires all but one of the 22 exterior parking places for those businesses according to the current zoning regulation, leaving the other 16 to come from somewhere within the building. This petition greatly increases the density and the complex of this particular building, and members of staff as well as to the zoning board are concerned as we are on the density. We ask that this petition, which requires that the special use shall in all other respects conform to the applicable land use regulations, which this petition does not, that it be held to the same standings that the other businesses are that are around. We really feel that the Additional parking that is not there is going to come onto our lots. And we know this because the petitioner, at the last time he addressed, also asked us if they could use our lots for additional parking. So we believe there's a very serious parking problem here, and we ask that you consider that in your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Question, Mayor?
Sure.
We did deny this in July of 2011 because of the parking issue. So my question to staff is, why is it okay now to have the same amount of parking spaces as it was 2 years ago? Now it's okay, and before we denied it.
Yeah, Jim Haller, go ahead. Come on up to the podium, Jim. Or if you want to grab this. Yeah.
It said we needed 34 spaces last time, and there's still only possibly 27 now.
Yeah, the last thing that they filed for was to actually do auto repair plus the muffler shop. So they were gonna have quite a bit number more cars under repair. What ended up happening is after the denial, he went back and revised his petition to only do the muffler shop. So no auto repair, no general auto repair would be allowed at all. And so what he said was his model really was, the one that I'm familiar with is like Alpha Muffler. That's what he said would it'd be modeled after down by St. Mary Nativity, where he would have 2 bays to do muffler work only. So maybe there would be 2 cars under repair at any given time, maybe 2 cars or 4 cars that would be waiting to get fixed beyond that. And he had enough space within that proposed facility there where you see when you can see the screen there, the muffler shop on the side of it, where he could accommodate that. So he felt that he would not need any of the exterior parking spaces, would not have to compete with those, and thought that this would be a reasonable request. And that's the reason he came forward with the secondary request.
But again, there's still gonna be a lot of traffic, and people will be waiting to get their muffler. And what concerns me is a restaurant, a flower shop there, and the traffic. I mean, where's the overflow gonna go without impeding on, Mr. Kerwin's business and possibly Baltz's business as well down the street?
One of the things, I don't know if the petitioner's here. Yeah, they're in the back. One of the things they said at zoning board was the fact that a lot of times, especially the restaurant, would probably drive the most amount of parking spaces. That would be at a time that would be off hours for the muffler shop, most likely in the evening. So there was somewhat some exclusivity there that that they wouldn't be in competition for the same pool of parking spaces.
But we can't assume that.
Can't assume it, no.
Any other questions?
Your Honor?
Yes.
Jim, it says in here that there's 2 bays, 1 lift, is that accurate?
Correct, that's correct.
1 lift, but 2
1
bays.
lift and 2 bays.
Okay.
I think the proposal may be to add a second lift if this were approved.
And if that, they would have to get their permits to do that also, right?
Yeah, they would have to get building permits to put the second lift in, correct?
Okay. And, I got a couple calls from people in the area concerned about parking. And I talked to you a little bit about today, and they told me that, there was adequate in parking inside for employees, and it shouldn't be a hardship. But explain, if you would, if this becomes a nuisance and parking is a problem and they're parking on other people's property, what remedies we have.
Yeah, one of the things that we write into all of these zoning requests are if they ever become declared a public nuisance, they're open for a possible revocation. Now, they'd have to go back through, the staff would have to initiate one through the appeal process, but we would have the ability to revoke this special use if we had to, and we reserve that right for this case as well. And they know that we've had that discussion with them, so that's a little bit of assurance to some of the adjoining neighbors that if it does get out of hand, we do have a remedy to address that.
Thank you.
My problem is I got some concerns. If this happens, there'll be enough parking. If this don't happen, there's not going to be enough parking. It's too much of a gray area for me.
Mayor?
They just don't
Mayor?
have the parking.
If I may,
Wait a minute. I thought I heard somebody down there.
Yeah, it was myself.
Sure.
sorry.
To summarize what I'm thinking is, this is deja vu. The only thing that's changed is, and as a small business owner, I'm rooting for every small business. They've changed their marketing, but it's the same project. And kind of what we're being told is hopefully they won't be that successful. They won't have that much volume. Well, I hope they have a lot of volume wherever they put their business up. And I'm not, unless somebody can tell me how this is quite a bit different than what we visited a year and a half ago, it's the same thing, rechewed and spit out.
Thank you.
Well, again, they won't be doing general automotive repair. That does generate a lot of customers. Muffler shop does not generate as much.
I don't know, Oxbow seems to be doing pretty good.
Yeah, but it was brought up that Oxbow does general auto maintenance as well.
So we're hanging our hat on re-voting on this issue that they won't be successful, as successful as they would have been.
Again, I wouldn't clarify it that way, but
I hope their volume is huge, but not in that spot.
yeah.
Jim, are you saying that Oxbow does brakes and tune-ups and all that stuff where this place wouldn't?
From what I understand, yes, that they primarily started out as a muffler shop and then gradually grew into general automotive repair. That used to, where Oxbow was zoned for it because it was a gas station at one point in time that did full-service auto. And again, these folks have claimed that they're going to limit it to muffler only.
Councilwoman, you had something?
The restaurant's up and operating?
Yes.
And how long?
Matter of weeks.
Okay, because 2 years ago, recommendation, and I'm going to read this right from the council member from July of 2011. It says here, right here, the administration recommends that we deny it because the planned 32,000 square foot restaurant has not been well defined, and a large capacity restaurant at this location would not be compatible with the moderately sized parking lot configuration that exists at this site. So we don't have any more parking, maybe 2 more spots. We went from 23 to 27, and we really need 34, according to your memos.
Yeah, but if you could get the petitions up here, because they were going to do parking inside the building. The building is quite a good size. It could accommodate many cars within the building, and for the muffler operation, they were going to use the indoor parking, the indoor staging, and also for their employee parking. So it is quite a bit different than what was written in that council memo a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, but exactly, when I look at it this way, according to what, council, we're setting them up to fail, because if they are successful, people aren't gonna have a place to park, and they're getting upset, and they're gonna leave anyway.
Well, again, maybe you need to hear from them. They were here, they made their presentation to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Maybe that they could answer more specifically the questions that you're asking.
Well, the zoning board passed it last time,
Correct,
and they passed it again this time,
correct,
but the council denied it.
correct.
Okay,
First
I'll
time, the
listen.
first time around.
I've got a question for Mr. Haller. Your memo indicates required off-street parking at the site includes a total of 34 spaces. We have Route 30 and Agnes, which is the furthest distance from the muffler shop. Are we then going to have the muffler shop folks parking on Agnes? I'm confused.
No, there
Where
would be
we're
off-street
referring.
parking within the,
So they'd park on Route 30?
off of Route 30 in the parking lot that's in the front. What they were talking about for the muffler shop itself, the parking would be indoors in that building through the overhead garage door. There's one at the west side, there's one facing the north side. And that's what they were gonna identify as their parking for both employees and for the cars to be worked on as part of the muffler shop. Again, you realize that the restaurant didn't need any special zoning. It's only this auto repair portion of the request.
Thank you.
Anybody else? What's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, members, would you like to hear from the
Yes.
proposed operators? They're present.
Do it tonight or tomorrow or what?
Hi, my name is Christian Arteaga. I'm the one. I'm in charge of running the business. I've been in the business about 13, 14 years in the muffler and auto repair business. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer that.
Council?
Let me present myself. I'm Jose Alvarado from United Architects. I'm the one drawing these plans, and I'll be helping out the clients with the proposal. Again, we're talking about parking. Let me just tell you that, look at the slide that just was on the board a minute ago. If you could see, there's total of, we could fit actually 16, 17 cars in the slot inside the building easily. If that's the issue, we could address it inside. If we have 17 inside and 22 outside, that puts us way beyond what we need. Again, this is a 2-bay muffler shop. If there's 2 cars on the bays, 4 cars waiting, that's more than enough. Someone else comes along and says, I want a muffler. Well, it's going to be an hour and a half wait. Do you want to wait? Most likely not. You want to wait 2 hours for a muffler? You're not going to wait. You're not going to sit there and park. We're not keeping cars overnight over 2 hours whatsoever. And again, look at the plan, it clearly shows how much parking we got indoors. So if that's the problem, there shouldn't be any problems going to any neighbor's property to park whatsoever, nor the street. And again, that's different than the previous proposal, because there's no full-time mechanic, no full-time auto repair, no oil changes, no brakes, nothing, just strictly mufflers, in and out, in and out, in and out. Half hour, 45 minutes most. I don't see even beyond that, so.
Council? Question? Thank you.
Comment, Mayor?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm the councilman in this district, and I agree with Councilman Hogg. I definitely encourage business in Joliet. It's a reputable business. But I have to be honest, I have gotten calls from everybody around you. None of your neighbors are in favor of this. And I don't know if you've reached out to them or tried to smooth that over with them. It's hard as a councilman to ignore what everyone in the area is saying.
And all because of parking.
Yes.
Again, we meet the city ordinance as far as parking, you know? I mean, I don't know what else we could do, you know? It's a two-bay muffler shop, again, you know, it's trying to do anything under the code. I work with the city of Joliet for, you know, since 1988. We, you know, could get the building permits as required and so forth, so we're not doing nothing beyond opening a business.
Your Honor.
And again, you know, we got empty buildings along Route 30 there, and, you know, having another building fully occupied definitely, you know, makes sense to me, but.
Councilman?
Your Honor, have you met with the business owners in the area and?
Yes, we have.
Talked to them about the parking
We talked
situation?
to all of them, and again, their concern was parking.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
And again, you know, we're addressing the parking issue, and we're willing to, you know, address it, you know, any other issues that, you know, that might concern them. You know, I know the neighbor talked about noise issue, and I said there's ways to take care of the noise issue. And, you know, I'm an architect, so I can tell you how, you know, how to address that problem, if that's a problem, you know? But no, it's parking.
Mayor,
Yes.
again, the surrounding land use is east and west, it's single family, it's zoned single family with neighborhood businesses, okay? So the neighborhood businesses have been there, they've been there a very long time, and the neighbors have been there for a very long time. And they don't want their quality of life upset by a muffler shop. I mean, we've had these issues before on the far west side, but they were able to put a buffer or some type of berm in behind these muffler shops. There's no way you can put a berm to muffle the sound, the noise of these muffler sounds.
No,
Because when people drive in there, they're driving in to get their muffler fixed, and that makes a lot of noise.
And again, you got an
Regardless,
overhead
in and
door.
out, in and out, in and out. So I think it's disturbing the people's quality of life because it is single family. It's my opinion.
Mayor?
Yes.
In addition to what I said, now this is not directed at the three gentlemen up here. I was not at the zoning board meeting, but I did talk to some folks that were there. And as far as, you know, you have the report, the minutes. What really bothers me on top of my other concerns is there was one particular businessman, and I'm not putting names on the constituents, who said another businessman was in favor of this product, or one individual said another businessman locally in that area was in favor of it. I talked to the other businessman, and he absolutely never said he was in favor of it. That corrupted the process in my mind, just so you know where I'm standing.
What's your pleasure?
Your Honor, I'll move to deny Council Memo 209-13 for a special use permit to allow a two-bay muffler shop.
I'll second it.
It's been motioned and seconded to deny a special use permit for 926 Plainfield Road. Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Before I vote, I just wish you could find another place more applicable to your business, because I would like to see you succeed, but I think we'd be setting you up for failure here. And, you know, we just can't, we have to listen to the residents. That's who vote us in, that's who Councilman Otterkirk's district is, and the neighbors don't want it, and surrounding businesses don't want it, so therefore I have to vote no.
Clarify for aye.
I'm sorry, vote aye for the denial, I'm sorry.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Barber?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, next item is Council Memo 211-13. 211-13, it's a request to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Joliet and the Joliet Park District and Impact Outdoor LLC for digital signs. This is an item that you had visited back in 2011. Since then, Impact Outdoor and the city has been working with various property owners to position digital signs as part of the sign network. I know you've had a chance to see a few of them up in operation. We've gotten a lot of compliments on them, and I think the process is getting better as far as being able to expand the use for charities.
And vinyl is monumental. You're getting a lot more messages on the signs. Every 10 seconds, these are going to flip. There's no animation. You can see some examples of things that we've done for the community. These are done by what we call space available agreements within the industry. The other thing that we can do with them is we can override any message on them anytime for amber alerts, severe weather, and things of that nature. So the current status right now, there's 3 firms in town that are running digital billboards: Clear Channel Lamar and Impact Outdoor. The first one was Clear Channel out on I-80. Impact Outdoor did an agreement with this council back in 2011 that had the opportunity to bring 12 signs into the community. So far we've had 3 of them. There's one on I-80, Larkin and Theodore, and Essington and Hennepin. The original agreement with the council had 3 locations identified in it with the Park District. But the Park District, in negotiations with the city and Impact Outdoor, decided on only 2 locations. And they've asked us to enter into an intergovernmental license agreement between the city, Impact Outdoor, and the Joliet Park District. Part of their arrangement is a little different. They've asked for non-compete clauses with their what we call park district facilities. If they're having activities, it's a water park, they don't want the advertising from a water park in Yorkville to be on that sign, so it made a lot of sense. So we need to kind of tool it up a little bit. They also asked for some additional protection for advertising for their biggest sponsors, ATI, Darcy, and President St. Joe's Medical Center. So we were able to get all that done. The Joliet Park District did approve the agreement, and we brought it back to CTIS. I was just going to flip through this. The results so far, in 2011, on one board in the community, we got over 800,000 messages. In 2012, that same sign produced 1.3 million 10-second messages for the community and charities and any emergencies. Impact Outdoor gave me a report also that we had 1.2 million flips in the community on just 3 of his locations in about 6 months. So again, advertising works, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the community to get some additional messaging. This is a part of a report that came from Clear Channel that just shows the 1.3 million, 79,712, and you can get the digital readouts for how many thousands of flips depending on what the message was. So the additional request, the current request on Councilmental 21113 is that we'd like to get these 2 sites done. One is on Route 59 on Caton Farm Road, just north of Caton Farm Road on Route 59. The other one is on Jefferson Street, just east of Airport Road. Both of these sites have existing monument locations at them, and Impact Outdoor is actually going to have to bring electric for the digital sign, which will allow us to have electric for our American flags to be shown properly. We've got a lot of community support and support letters for these projects. City staff is recommending approval, the chamber, the downtown CED, and tourism efforts, and we did discuss this at CTIS and reviewed it and approved to bring it to full council for a vote. This is just kind of an, I think Councilman McFarland asked for an aerial at the CTIS meeting. I just wanted to show a little bit about where this actually is. This is one of the monument locations out on Caton Farm and Route 59. This is a digital map of it. You can see, I apologize, you can see the actual monument location is right inside there. This is the Jefferson and Airport Road location. Once again, the actual existing monument is already there, and we're just proposing to add a digital sign to this location. This is just a sample rendering, just a kind of computer model of, you can see the existing monument with the flags, and then there'll be a potential digital board there next to it. This is another rendering. So we're looking for your approval with the three-way license agreement. I know that Councilman Hug, I think, had a few questions he might want to ask Jeff. At the CTIS committee, we talked about maybe Jeff could make a few comments about the license agreement.
Yeah, I just wanted to have our corporation counsel, Jeff Kleiman, just reassure those up here and those out in the community. This is kind of a housekeeping to make it happen since it's not our property, but it does not increase our liability as it pertains to the property or the sign.
No, it doesn't. In fact, in our original agreement with Impact Outdoor, we do have indemnification protections in that agreement. What we don't have currently is any contract with the Park District for our community display improvements that are in place today. They were installed basically on a handshake between the city and the Park District, so we certainly need an agreement with the Park District. The only thing that would, and this agreement takes care of that and cleans that up. The only additional exposure to the city would be the displays by this third party, the advertising company, Impact Outdoor. We already have those agreements in place. And we have pretty tight control on what advertising can go on any of these facilities because they are in the public way or on public property.
And should the Park District decide to find a reuse for that, we're no more obligated to locate them than we already are if we move them off one of our spots for a reason.
Right. The Park District was concerned about that. They need to make sure that they don't have any unreasonable restrictions on their flexibility for improvements or reuse of a site, just like we had that exact same concern when we did our agreement a year and a half ago. You need to be able to adapt to a road widening project, for example. And so if these facilities need to be moved, they need to, the agreement provides for that.
Thanks, Jeff.
I do have Rod Hirsch from Impact Outdoor available if you have any other questions, or I'd be happy to take any other questions.
I think you got them all.
Okay.
Thanks. Tom?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the big thanks to the Park District Board. They voted 5-0 in favor of this. It did take some time, though, to get here because they had a lot of concerns, but Ben and Rod have addressed all those concerns, and I think that's why it's before you with their 5-0 endorsement. This will be on tomorrow night's agenda. Next item, 212-13, Council Memo 212-13. That's a resolution authorizing the acquisition of 126 Willow as a land donation. The National Community Stabilization Trust has offered to facilitate a donation of a vacant lot at 126 Willow to the city of Joliet. Staff has reviewed this, and we are recommending acquisition of the lot without compensation. It can be used either for future housing development or something creative like a community garden project. The staff is recommending its approval. Next item, 213-13, is a resolution requesting authorization to implement a tobacco enforcement program. The city of Joliet has received a grant for just over $13,000 from the state of Illinois to implement tobacco checks. This will be done with using overtime police officers, and the $13,000 would be used to defray that cost. It will cover the entire cost of the detail. Staff is recommending approval of the agreement.
Mayor?
Yes.
Tom, any matching?
No, there's no matching. None.
Okay, thank you.
Next item, 215-13, is the regular payroll for April 26, 2013. And then the 216 is the regular payroll for May 10th, 2013. That's followed by the treasurer's disbursements for your review, April 2013, as well as the regular claims for April 2013. And I believe there'll be a finance committee meeting tomorrow afternoon to review these. And then the remaining items were reviewed by the Public Service Committee at its meeting this afternoon. I believe there'll be a report given on those items at tomorrow's meeting. And then there's a proclamation honoring Stephanie Hawkins as the Milken Educator Award. That concludes the staff's presentation of the agenda for tomorrow night. We do have 2 citizens to be heard. Mr. Mayor, if you're ready for those.
Please.
First one is Maria Rosas regarding the detention center.
I would like to request to have Charlotte Drugan come first, if that's okay with you.
Mr. Mayor, Ms. Drugan has signed up already to be heard, so I think they're asking for us to
Sure.
change the order, and it sounds like there's no objection to that.
No.
I'm Charlotte Trugan, 164 Seabury Road, and I would respectfully request that I give my speaking time slot to Betty Gavin, who's over there. Please, thank you.
Good evening, Your Honor and council members. My name is Betty Gavin. I'm at 2219 Belmont Avenue. I have been a resident in the 4th District of the City of Joliet for over 35 years. I come before you today to ask this City Council to really consider the amount of support that has been raised against CCA, Corrections Corporations of America, and the building of a for-profit immigrant prison. I am proud to announce that Congressman Bill Foster of the 11th Congressional District, along with 6 other U.S. congressmen from Illinois, have written letters to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Janet Napolitano, raising concerns over a proposal to allow a for-profit detention center and the company from building in Illinois. I know that this council is tasked with finding good jobs for our city. I urge you to listen to the support that has been gathered against this project. Congressman Foster wrote in his press release, "Creating job opportunities is my top priority in Congress. We need good, substantial jobs, not unsafe, unstable, or low-wage jobs. Our community has much more to gain from common sense immigration reform that brings thousands of undocumented immigrants out of the shadows and give them a path to become productive, tax-paying members of society." Congressman Foster, along with Congressman Gutierrez, Schakowsky, Kelly, Schneider, Duckworth, and Quigley, all have called on the Department of Homeland Security to reconsider the building of this detention center. Not only did those congressmen and women come out against the detention center, but so did our highest ranking law enforcement officer in Illinois, Attorney General Lisa Madigan. She wrote her own letter to the Department of Homeland Security, citing concerns about immigration detention facility that the CCA has proposed for our city. Attorney General Office cites that for-profit correctional facilities industry has a record that raises serious policy and safety questions. I urge you to read these letters and see the concerns that she raised. I have brought each of you a copy. I have been a part of the Joliet community for many years, and for a long time I have committed myself to continue to empower our community with help of programs and services. I would find it hard to believe that the City of Champions would want such a project in our city. I know you want to find us and continue to find great projects that strengthen our community and not plunge our community into fear. I urge you to stop considering this project as what we want in Joliet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Who was the first young lady that wanted to?
Mr. Mayor, that was Ms. Rosas.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe she's approaching again.
I apologize. We do have other members that would like to speak, and I wanted to know if it's okay with you guys, if they would speak.
They'd have to get the permission from this council. The only thing I ask, if it's going to be redundant, okay, we understand where you're coming from, believe me. That's why we're getting CCA to come in here and give their proposal, because speaking for myself, I'm listening to you folks and I'm listening to others. I want them to find out the facts myself. So yes, they can speak, sure, if they get a motion and second from this council.
So moved.
Second. Motion and seconded to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'm Concetta Smart, and I'm standing here speaking in
Ma'am, the address, please.
316 Brighton Lane, Creed, Illinois. But I'm from the American Federation of Teachers and the IFT, and Richard Manley, the president of our local 604, asked me if I could represent our local and give you this letter.
Sure.
Okay. And it's very short. It is redundant, but when 10,000 teachers speak, I think it's worth listening to. It could save you guys a lot of time. Maybe you don't need to talk to CCA. It's addressed to the mayor. In mid-December, the representatives from the 83 councils of AFT Local 604, representing over 10,000 members in and around Will County, voted unanimously in opposition to the proposed immigration detention center in Joliet. In spite of the tax advantages from private ownership of the prison, Corrections Corporation of America has a terrible labor record. We all know the effects that privatization has on organized labor, such as low salaries, reduced benefits, and often less than adequate working conditions. The city of Joliet owes its people much more than the incarceration of people for profit. And he asks that we have this letter shared with everybody. Also, we ask this, along with the Joliet Diocese and all the teachers that I work with, that you end negotiations and just save some time and get on with the business of making Joliet a champion city.
Thank you. Give him the first letter.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. I'm a little short. There we go.
I'm
Good
sorry, did you
afternoon.
give your name and address? I don't recall.
Yes, I was just about to introduce myself.
Okay.
You know, Mayor, she could take that off and if it's easier
Yes, you
for
can
her.
grab it with, no.
Grab
no.
the base,
whole
grab
thing.
the base.
The whole thing. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Gracias. Good afternoon, City Council members, Mayor Geranti, Mr. Thanes, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. This is my first time addressing the City Council, and I'm speaking publicly around an issue that I feel very, very strong about. I am an immigrant, and very proud to be an immigrant. I have been living and working in Joliet for over 30 years. I have raised a family and have owned a very successful business for over 20 years, translations business. Joliet is my home. I intend to keep it my home. But I'm deeply concerned about the potential project that this city is considering. While I understand no formal project has been proposed by Correctional Corporation of America, it is a disrespect even to entertain the idea. I urge you to read the packets of information that you may be provided The CCA will represent to you about why these projects make sense, but they will not share with you the cold hard facts that show how bad a company they are. The issue has turned a community that is trying to grow and prosper. I am a proud citizen of Joliet. I don't want to be ashamed to live here because we decided to build a for-profit prison detention center. I'm also here to tell you that my business will suffer. I offer a much-needed service to a Latino community by helping people file taxes, and I will lose my business. Latinos will fear coming to Joliet because of the detention center, La Migra. It is well known that 78% of the people who are arrested and deported are people who are not criminals, but have been caught up by minor offenses. The population in Joliet of Hispanics in approximately 2010 is 41,255. They're factory workers, they file taxes, and they have made their own businesses. So I urge you, please to reconsider. Keep families together. Mantengan familias unidas.
Ma'am? Excuse me. Excuse me, unless I missed it, I don't think you did give your name and address.
I don't think she did.
Maria Araceli Rosa, 621 Plainfield Road, Joliet, Illinois,
Thank you.
60435.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Kaiser. My
Excuse
address...
me, is there a motion to allow Kathy to speak?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. My address is 1307 Brentwood Place, Joliet, and I've been active in our community for over 20 years with social justice issues. Tonight and over the past few days, we've heard about opposition for the for-profit immigration center from 7 congressmen, the Attorney General, and present St. Joseph Medical Center. I bring a strong message from the people of our community opposing the detention center. I'm here to present to Mayor Geronti and to the City Council members petitions with over 5,000 signatures of residents of our community and neighboring communities who oppose the building of a for-profit immigration detention center. Over 5,000 brown, black, and white residents from the east side of Joliet, the west side of Joliet, have lifted up their voices and ask you to reject this proposal. You know, several years ago, there was another proposal in Joliet. It was a proposal by the Joliet Park District to raise local taxes to build a second ice skating sheet that would provide majority of services to people living outside the Joliet area and provide no services to children of color. The residents strongly opposed that project as unfair and discriminatory to East Side residents. Petitions were circulated, and over 5,000 residents, brown, black, and white, voiced their opposition to that project. When those petitions were presented to the Park District Board, they scrapped the plans to proceed with that project. It is our deep hope that history repeats itself and plans for the for-profit immigration detention center are also laid to rest. And I'd like to present these petitions. Thank you.
I'd like to request to speak, Mayor.
So
Motion.
moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Motion carried.
Robert Hernandez, 809 Westminster Road, Joliet, Illinois, 60435. I haven't spoke on this issue other than on the blogs, but, and I have a lot of respect for you, Mayor, and members of the City Council. They've talked about all the people who are opposed to this, who are in elected positions of power. But in this last election, you had a huge turnout of Hispanic voters. And you had a landslide victory by one of the city councilmen at large, Mr. McFarland, who was the only one who vehemently opposed this for-profit prison. I think that alone should send a message that the citizens of Joliet, all the citizens of Joliet, from all different ethnicities, are opposed to this for-profit prison. That should be more important than congressmen or even our state attorney general, that the residents of this city, when they spoke loud and clear in this last election, should be a voice that should be heard. I know we're concerned about the building trades. There's a lot of good projects in Joliet. They'll have jobs. And I think we should think about the people who voted in this last election, because they're the ones that are going to vote you in or out. And the Hispanic vote has grown into many districts. In Councilman Girl's district, it is strong. You know, hundreds of voters from outside of District 4 that were Hispanic voted in this last election for councilman at large. So it's going to affect every one of you sitting up there. And that's something that you should think about. The future. You're all going to be running for re-election at one time or another. And the people have spoken out strongly in opposition to this for-profit detention center. And I think we should listen to the people who vote you in office. The building trades, they're a very powerful organization. They've contributed to many of your campaigns. But even more powerful than that is the voice of the people that actually go out and vote and live in Joliet. Again, I hope that, because we've heard presentations from people over the last several weeks, and the city manager has come on a couple of different occasions, but nothing's going to change once CCA comes here. It's going to be their presentation showing you why we need this, and those of you on the council who may support this, you're not going to change your opinion, and those of you that are opposed to it are not going to change your opinion. Let's listen to the people and just vote it down once and for all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, members of the council.
I'm going to make a comment. I live in District 1, and as Mr. Hernandez had pointed out, there's a growing Latino population all through the city. Matter of fact, there's 5 families on my street who are Latino. Did not think of them as Latino until today. Thought of them as neighbors. And we do get together, we have beers together over the fence, we have our cookouts. So I do want to assure you that many of us are listening, not just to the Latinos, to the Joliet residents, to the neighbors, regardless of whether they are brown, black, or white. I know I am, okay?
Would like to request to speak.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Name and address.
Angel Contreras, 1400 Ada Street. First of all, I want to thank everyone that came up here to speak today to get their point across. I hope everyone in the council and mayor and staff, takes all their comments into consideration. But I wanted to bring up another issue. A few weeks ago, Councilman Quillman brought up the opportunity, or brought up an issue to see if we can form some sort of diversity council or committee with members of the city council. Mayor, I think you said you were going to look into that. I wanted to know kind of where that stands now, or where is it going. I think that would be something that would definitely benefit the African American and Hispanic communities here, to set up some sort of diversity council be formed with members of the city council.
I'm in the process of drawing up a press release. This committee will be made up of citizens. I'm not going to make it political. I'm not going to appoint any council to this committee. It'll be made up of just citizens, and if the members of the council want to go to the meetings, fine. But I'm in the process of right now drawing up a press release for anybody that's interested in being on this committee, this diversity committee, to send a letter to my office.
Thank you.
Sure.
I've got a question, Mayor. Is this committee a committee of the council or the mayor's office?
It's a committee of the mayor's office, just like my CARB committee. It's a committee of the mayor's office. It's a diversity committee.
Gotcha.
Well, I just hope the committee will be able to, reach out to the members of the community, and it'll be diverse, I hope.
That is my intention. In fact, I talked to this gentleman, Mr. Sellers, that's coming up behind you about that.
All right.
He was in my office, and I talked to him about that.
Thank you.
Mayor, just to,
Sure.
Mr. Contreras, whatever happens with this committee, I will be there.
All right.
Brought it up.
And I hope all of the council members are there, to be honest.
Well, it depends when
Even
the chairman
they're
calls.
appointed or not, I hope they, everyone shows up and gets involved.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to allow Mr. Sellers to speak?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
My name is Willie Sellers, 707 4th Avenue. And Mayor, I was kind of like to know, could you share some of your views of how you want to set this up, or what do you expect to accomplish with what you're trying to put together? We asked for the Diversity Council, so I've spoken to some of the people. They got some idea of what we need, and I'm just trying to see, what vision do you have for as this council is concerned?
For this committee?
Yes. What do you?
It's a committee to draw up policies to get minority businesses involved, bring it to this council for their acceptance.
I think that we need to have more dialogue before you do what you're trying to do, because I don't think you totally understand the concept of what we are trying to achieve. And that's why I asked that question.
We talked, and you says you only wanted business people that are in the business on the committee. I don't believe in that. I think it should be a makeup of business and non-business people.
I know, but there's still a disconnect here, and that's what I'm trying to say there.
What is that?
That is that you doesn't really understand what I'm asking you. You think you can just get a few people together and they can say yay or nay and that happen. We've given you a package to start a minority participation ordinance, and that's not what we're asking right now. We're asking for a council to take a look at the work that you've given out and the work that you'll continue to give out, and why we are not included in the process. You've given out over $7 million of that $42 million that you got from IDOT, and no local minorities received any of the work or any of the money. And that's what we are trying to approach. We're not trying to start something else just to have a lot of conversation.
Well, if you're looking for set-asides, that ain't gonna happen. Everybody has the opportunity to bid on every job we do. And I'm gonna call on the city manager to answer that, because all this money that we're spending, there is a paragraph in there that they're supposed to hire so many minority people.
But before you come in here, when you say set aside, I ask you to educate yourself on diversity, because the federal government went to court and they found out that there was a disparity between what was happening in the job market. And you sitting here trying to be the council over whether there's a set aside or not set aside, that's not gonna work, because they proved that we was being disfranchised. And by you saying you don't believe in set aside, that's what I'm saying. You does not understand what needs to happen. And I think Jan or somebody else need to be involved, not just you, because you already said you don't believe in helping us do anything.
Here's my interpretation of set aside. You have a project, and you set aside so much of that for minority businesses. That's my impression. And what happens, especially if you leave it to local minority businesses and you only have one or two, the cost of the project to the city increases quite a bit, because you lose the bidding process and the competition for the bidding process. That is my interpretation of a set aside.
And I'm telling you that that's wrong. That's not what I'm asking you for, and you does not understand it. And that's why I'm asking you that you need to put a committee together of someone that can bring you back the information you need to make a decision with knowledge. Because I'm not asking you to set something aside. I'm asking you to follow the guideline that's already in place.
And I think we are. Tom, you want to answer that?
On the contract for the transportation center, how that works, is that, okay, because I wasn't sure what the question was. The city of Joliet received a $32 million grant from the state of Illinois to construct the transportation center. Along with the $32 million, we've been able to acquire about another $20 million worth of investment to do a $52 million project. That project has started. You can see some of the work going on right now. With the $32 million grant came a restriction from the state of Illinois that requires 26% of the business, of the construction business, to be granted to disadvantaged business enterprises, DBEs. The state of Illinois dictates the process for that. Who in the pool of DBE firms is eligible to bid and get this work? We're obligated to follow that, and we have successfully followed that through the various contracts we've let so far, and we'll continue to follow that over the next 3 or 4 years as we continue on building this facility. So it's something that we are following the rules. There have been disadvantaged business enterprises that have gotten a substantial portion of the work, not only just the trucking or the landscaping work, but other parts of the work. And what we aim to do is to comply with the grant that's been given to us. We don't have a choice, so we do that, and so far it's worked out very well. I understand Mr. Sellers hasn't been able to get a successful bid or subcontract on this, and we've indicated there are various other contractors that might be willing to work with him on that, and he should keep trying that. But at this point, we audit the contracts, make sure that there's full compliance. IDOT audits it. IDOT has a construction consulting firm, T.Y. Lin, that audits the contracts to ensure compliance with the DBE requirement. And at this point, we're 100% in compliance.
I was there when this was brought up, this diversity committee this on the city's behalf. I think Councilman Quillman, you were there, Odekirk, Morris, and Mr. Hugg. It was actually one of the public forums, if I'm not mistaken, during the campaign. I think what they're looking for here, and correct me if I'm wrong, is not necessarily on contracts or an advisory committee. I think what they're looking is a committee off the council that we can look at the city's policies and how we are looking at diversity as a city. Whether or not it's the city using certain contractors when we're doing our own work, bidding out when we're buying pens and pencils, looking at our hiring standards, A to Z, dealing with diversity, not just including brown people, black people, white people, but male and female. The questions came up on the fire department with females. I think it's a bigger issue, and I think they're looking at changing ordinance and policies and having an input on there than more than an advisory out of the mayor's office. And I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I heard that the folks wanted. So I would recommend, maybe in conjunction with your advisory committee, we have a subcommittee off the council with certain members wanting to serve on that to initiate some of these initiatives that you guys brought forth from whenever you began talking to the mayor and the rest of the council on these issues over the years.
If I might, Mayor.
That's what I'm asking. I'm asking not, that's what I'm asking for. I think I've said enough.
If I might, first of all, I want to thank Councilman McFarland for making me feel old enough to be his father, Mr. Hugg. He said most of what I was going to say, but that's what I was going to say, Mayor, too. I think they're looking for a committee of more than just one elected official, of several elected officials, and a committee that will also work with our fellow residents at large, and that would still be advisory, but would give us access, for instance, to the Corporation Council on some of these issues when we want to talk about the legalities of different issues that might come with diversity, with minority contractors and beyond, as Mr. McFarland said, and whether it be like the fire department as an example. So I would have to agree with Councilman McFarland that, because if I remember right, Councilwoman Quillman, when she brought it up, volunteered to be on the committee.
Well, man,
Sure, go ahead.
with all due respect to the mayor, when I did present that to you that day, I kind of explained everything to you and said it could be like any other committee, like legislative or, CTIS, a committee of 3 members. And we could make it a new committee on the council agenda, and, we could meet when there's issues that come up with all these folks and then bring it to the council after the council members have researched it. That was about, a month ago or 6 weeks ago.
All this is news to me. I wasn't at the forum when you had
I think
that.
Councilman Turk, sorry, you were there also.
I was there.
I wasn't there, so when she brought that up, I thought they were looking at, you bring a lot of other things into the mix other than the business, so I will, okay, that gives me a new.
All right, thank you, Mayor. That's what I'm asking for. Just take a look at what we're asking.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good.
I would like to request if it's allowed for me to speak.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I would like to say thank you for all the council members as well as the mayor and city manager, for everyone who's opposed of actually building the detention center. Just taking consideration that people are humans and, you know, there's family involved and it affects largely. Not only that, but, you know, I want to go ahead and thank Councilman Coleman for actually bringing up wanting to make a diversity committee. I think that that would be a great outlook for the whole community. And that's it. Thank you.
Get your name.
Mr. Mayor, I think the city clerk wanted to get the young lady's
Name, I'm
and
sorry.
address so she could record
and
it for the
address.
record.
Thank you, Sue.
Dama Calderon, 340 Macon Avenue in Romeoville, Illinois.
Thank you. If there's no one else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
What do you